Through the Chamber and the CEO Council for Growth's leadership, we've been able to create the recharge and recovery effort for the city and the region. That's not just good for Wawa's business, but for the entire business community and region. The Chamber, they brought together the civic and business leaders to make sure this gets done and to hold us accountable. Fantastically important.
The African American Chamber of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, and the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia worked together this year on several initiatives and programming to ensure inclusive growth in the region as we work to move Philadelphia forward. We collaborated on doing business with the city, programming to ensure that businesses are able to navigate the procurement process and that the system is seamless. We also joined together to advocate for business tax reduction to spur economic growth in the region, which has led to a working group in order to create a tax reform plan to support equitable recovery in Philadelphia.
The Chamber on a daily basis is working hard to support small business here in the city of Philadelphia, specifically the Black, Brown, and women-owned community. We are receiving access through the Chamber's work to both City Council and the Mayor's office, which is resulting in true tangible results.
This has been a remarkable year of change for the business community. Companies across the region and throughout the world are learning to adapt, pivot, and seek new opportunities in this rapidly changing marketplace. I am grateful to have the opportunities to learn from and share with other local business leaders through forums that the Chamber provides. Navigating the pandemic is hard, but together we can start new businesses, strengthen the regional economy, and help Philadelphia be the incredible city and region we all love.
Over the past year, I've been afforded the opportunity to address City Council on issues important to business growth. I've been able to connect with business leaders from across the region, and I've been able to connect my team to resources that makes them more effective and more impactful. The Chamber has worked with our organization and come alongside of us as an ally to support us in the work that we're doing to make change and growth in the city of Philadelphia.
The Wilma Theater created a fully digital season where we were able to reach audiences here in Philadelphia, across the country, and around the world. I was honored to share early learnings with the Digital Drawing Board program participants and support folks in continuing to create and shine a light on the amazing arts and culture scene here in Philadelphia.
Just want to take the time to thank Rob Wonderling and the fabulous team at the Philadelphia Chamber with many opportunities to speak with the Philadelphia legislators, both at the onset of the pandemic and even now during challenging times.
The virtual programming has been top-notch, and from the Pay It Forward program to some of the interesting conversations you've had with City Council, it's been a great year, and I can't wait for 2022.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, the 21st annual meeting of your Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia. I'm Rob Wonderling, and I am just so honored to be in service to you as the President and Chief Executive Officer for your Chamber of Commerce. This is an outstanding day for many reasons. But suffice it to say that I stand before you today with unbridled optimism. And I can say that for three reasons. One, during this past year, we have seen how this business community has left no stone unturned, sought new markets, created new products and services, and created countless numbers of jobs for our citizens in this city of Philadelphia and throughout the greater Philadelphia region. Two, I remain absolutely astounded by the generosity, the charity, and the philanthropy of our business community, particularly towards our most vulnerable citizens throughout this city and this region. And third, I have seen firsthand, I have witnessed plenty of government officials ask this business community for help, and the answer has been and always will be yes. How can we help? And that is because your Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia is about partnership, collaboration, working with each other and through us to make this a world-class city and region. And specifically, my unbridled optimism is rooted in what all of you have done with us and through us this past year. So many of you have chosen to lead through our various initiatives. You have sponsored our events that, although virtual, were attended by over 20,000 individual chamber colleagues, learning best practices, working together to grow an inclusive economy for the city of Philadelphia. And we have had a remarkable year. It is really my honor and pleasure to report to you that as we close the books on June 30, we had a historic year at the Chamber of Commerce, all thanks to you. And in fact, the renewal rate for our members just slightly above 91%. So it was more than sticking with us. It was the keen understanding by all of you and your colleagues that we are the place that drives value and impact. Now, if you're not a member, please come join us. You won't be disappointed. Now, today, this event, like many of our events I just referenced, could not be possible without a number of key sponsors. So let us now pause and recognize our chamber members that have made this event possible today. Our title sponsor, Independence Blue Cross. Our presenting sponsor, Comcast, NBC, Universal. Our chairperson sponsor, Jacobson Strategic Communication. The chair gets two. That's Jacobson Strategic Communications. Our premium sponsors, PECO, PNC, Stradley Ronan. Our co-sponsors, AmeriHealth Caritas, Citizens, Diversified Search Group, Drexel University. Another co-sponsor, Morgan Properties, the Philadelphia Youth Network, Villanova University, and the Villanova School of Business. The American Bible Society, serving as a supporting sponsor, along with Baker Tilly, my benefit advisor, Westchester University, and the Wistar Institute. Now, at the outbreak of COVID-19 and the global pandemic and the interrelated socio and economic unrest, led by your chair, Sue Jacobson, we gathered a number of business and civic leaders along with our partners from the federal, state, and local government. And we laid a 10-year course for an economic recovery that would be diverse, inclusive, and modern. And in that plan, we share 5 aspirations. And those aspirations are as follows. We intend for this city and this region to be a new national model to learn and apprentice and work in the jobs of the future. That this region, the greater Philadelphia region, will be known for and investing in small businesses, particularly in our Black, brown, and women enterprises. This city and this region will be known as a digitally literate community. We'll embrace adaptive technology. We'll increase our digital literacy, and we'll make sure that the internet is used to its fullest capacity. We aspire to be the healthiest, most livable community in the northeastern portion of the United States. And finally, and we're well on our way, we aspire to be a top global cell and gene therapy hub. Now, I have no doubt that in the months and years ahead, that these aspirations will become our new reality. It'll be the new reality of a modern, world-class city called Philadelphia. It'll be the new reality for the 11-county greater Philadelphia region. And the reason why I have no doubt that this will be the case is because of all of you. This business and civic community will continue to lead the way. This Chamber of Commerce will continue to lead the way. Our future, with undeniable fortitude, is clear. Our commitment to all of you, and on behalf of my colleagues, is crystal clear. That we're going to be relentless in service to all of you. We're going to be passionate about what it means to be a world-class city and region. And we're going to do so with a high level of energy combined with humility. We are in service to you. That is your Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia.
So I'm new to the DEI committee, which I'm excited about because it's all about sharing and best practices, making sure that organizations across the city have the same loyalty to our organizations throughout our community is incredibly important. Being a member of the DEI committee is key to that. And bringing on a sense of commitment to the city through all of us working together and sharing what we are doing to help make impacts will truly make a difference. But we have the folks right here that can help us understand what we need to prioritize, what are the challenges that are getting in the way to making an impact for diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have Jefferson Health, Thomas Jefferson University is a brick and mortar. We have a huge footprint and a responsibility to our local businesses because we take up space here. And how are we to help our local community grow? So one of the things that is near and dear to my heart is working with supply chain. It is the biggest piece of the work that I do. It's part of our external stakeholders dimension, but it's how do we increase that percentage of business that we do with minority women-owned businesses, small businesses across our landscape, and bringing in programs that are true, that really make impact. And if they're not quite there yet, maybe they don't get awarded, but they begin the relationship building piece.
The Diversity Procurement Collaboratives, I serve as co-chair. We bring together minority business, we bring together senior corporate executives, and I think what's most important is that we are now making networking opportunities. We have to get involved in measuring, making real-world network connections, bringing in senior executives from corporate America, as well as small and other minority businesses, and making meaningful connections from these folks. And then setting a baseline and then measuring what's going on throughout the year. I mean, if you think about networks and making connections, I mean, here at the Chamber with the CEO Access Network, as well as the DEI Committee, these are two organizations, two opportunities where people are getting access to opportunity, getting access to executives, access to minority business, and talking to each other, trying to come up with ways to do business together.
We came to know each other through the CEO Access Program at the Chamber of Commerce. This has been an amazingly beneficial relationship because, you know, your company is much larger than mine, 150 employees. That's our goal for FY22. And so just learning about, operational things you've talked about. You're an inventor and an innovative leader. And, your strategies for leading your company has been very impressive to me.
Well, I appreciate that, Pat. And, yeah, sure, we're a little bit larger, but like I said, you're the Philly institution. You've been around a lot longer than us, which is why it's funny, the conversations we've had about, oh, we should go to this place together, or we should go to this meeting. We get there and you know more people than me anyway. So that's what we hope to be.
We're both in the people business. It's all about relationships, and the more people that you know that can advance your business, the better. That's why I'm so glad that the Chamber of Commerce connected us together. And I think the main thing is having outreach meetings and networking opportunities where people are together in the same room. People do business with people that they like, ultimately.
I think one of the most important things to build a strong network is to show up authentically. So by that, I mean not metaphorically or literally looking over your shoulder while you're shaking somebody's hand to the next person you're going to talk to. I mean, really digging in and getting to know people. And as Pat said, building relationships. That's where the strength of network comes from. It's really powerful.
Workforce development is such an important passion for me personally because, hey, the bottom line is good paying jobs sustain families, it drives the economy forward, and in Philadelphia, ultimately, is how we reduce poverty. There's different jobs for different people of different backgrounds. We have great careers that need college degrees. We have wonderful career opportunities that do not require a college degree. That's what it's about, having great opportunities for everyone so that we can really build upon the incredible diversity that we have in Philadelphia and make this the most inclusive economy in the country. Workforce needs to start. It starts with education. At the end of the day, if you're not introducing young people to career opportunities in the 6th grade, that career awareness will not happen. And that's what's really great. When we bring the corporate community together with the public sector, as well as the not-for-profit community, that's when we really win for everybody.
Mosaic is working in a number of neighborhoods throughout Philadelphia. All of our efforts have been focused on a primary ethos, and that's that community development should be inclusive and wealth building for all people involved. Our focus has been not only about real estate and building new buildings, but who gets to use and benefit from those buildings. We've put in place programs that also allow moderate and low-income people to invest in our projects. And these are projects that have historically been excluded and limited to people of high net worth. And by doing that, it stabilizes these neighborhoods, and it doesn't displace people who have already been there. By including them in the process, they don't end up with the consequence of being pushed out of the process. The complexity in making these strategies work is that a company like Mosaic, or really any other company, can't do it alone. I'll give you an example. We're working very closely with Cheney University. It's the oldest historically Black college in the country. And because of our relationships there, we've had to seek direction and input and involvement from members of the chamber, frankly, to help us guide our strategies moving forward, particularly in the areas of life science development.
So, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to those of you sitting with us here today. And also welcome back to over 1,000 of you who are joining us remotely, actually, hopefully remotely for the last time. I think it goes without saying that we all imagined our post-vaccinated fall would mean getting back to normal, back to office, and of course back together. And so the encouraging news, as we all know, is that the numbers, they're finally going in the right direction. But as we know, the Delta variant made things far more complicated than any of us expected. So we are a city and a region and a country that is still in recovery mode. But the progress we've made this past year, it is real, and it has put us in a position to write the next chapter of the greater Philadelphia story. Because here's one thing that is so different from where we were in the depths of the pandemic shutdown more than a year ago. And we know how much we can do, right? Especially once we all made that commitment. We are in this together, we're gonna help each other, and we're gonna make fundamental changes that not only ensure that Philadelphia is a world-class city to live, work, and do business, but that the rest of the world knows it as well. When we said we were gonna flip the script on the old ways of doing business, we actually really meant it. So just consider a couple of the key recharge and recover initiatives, and you heard some of them already. They are already making a major impact. And I want to highlight them not just because they're examples of what we can do when we work together, but because they are models of what we really have to do on an even bigger, broader scale moving forward if we're going to truly build a truly inclusive economy. Because we can't fulfill our potential as a truly great city if we continue to be known as one of the poorest. We've got to do a better job of bringing more people and jobs into this economy and helping all businesses flourish. And we know it can be done, right? Because of what we all accomplished together with Recharge and Recover. And I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. The first, a key group of our chamber leaders, they're working together on the Greater Philadelphia Financial Services Leadership Coalition. It's our banking initiative to help local Black and brown businesses. Sue Larnigan, who runs Fulton, Jim Devers of Bank of America, Joe Medichek, who runs PNC, and over 22 bank CEOs. They're partnering with Jim Burnett of WPSFI and other CDFIs, and PIDC, which incidentally is an organization founded by the Chamber and by the Mayor's office. What they're doing is they are solving a tough problem facing too many of our entrepreneurs seeking access to capital. They have already secured $10 million in their first year and their first year, actually, the goal was $7 million, and that's like just year one. And then we've got our procurement initiative. Our chamber leaders are providing critical opportunities. So over the last 6 months, the Chamber's Diversity Procurement Collaborative, it's grown to include 160 plus individuals from 110 chamber businesses they've made 2-year commitments to the program. And then we've got our Philadelphia Skills Forward initiative. More chamber leaders are driving change through a partnership. I want to thank Mike Innocenzo, who runs PICO, Dan Fitzpatrick, who you heard runs Citizens, Nicole Triantitella at Accenture for their leadership, and to all the board members who raised their hands to make a commitment to reskill over 5,000 individuals. This is another one of those really tough goals to accomplish, but an essential part of our plan to engage and train and reskill and grow our regional workforce. And then we've got our Chamber's Economic Competitiveness Campaign. This is aggressively promoting Philadelphia as a place to locate and expand business. Over the last 3 years, we've worked with over 150 companies and helped 11 to expand in our region. And I want to do a shout out to Bill Sasso, who has his tireless work and has really helped us lead this effort. Our consistent focus has been on all of those areas and also on the amazing growth opportunities that Rob alluded to about cell and gene therapy sector. This is a world-class sector for us, and it's a global leader and hub of research, talent, capital, and entrepreneurship. And then we've got Ready, Set, Philly. This is our Back to Work initiative with Center City and with the mayor's office. And so Bill Hankowski, Grant Palmer, who runs Blank Rome, Jamie Wentz-McKeon, who runs Morgan Lewis, Bruce Meyer, who runs Jefferson, and other chamber leaders. We're now meeting with the mayor every 2 weeks to bring people back to work safely. This is a true partnership that we are very proud of. And then there's Judy Von Selnick. She chairs Diversified, and she is launching a game-changing initiative that is going to help our future women entrepreneurs. I also want to acknowledge Chris Geisens, who you heard. He's doing a terrific job as the CEO. He's CEO of WAWA, and also for his leadership on the Chamber's CEO Council for Growth. What he's doing, as he mentioned, is he's tracking all these initiatives because we want to make sure we're measuring our progress and we are actually holding ourselves accountable. So, on all these fronts and more, we have shown what is possible. But really, it's what's necessary, and it's on an even bigger scale in the year ahead, and the year after that, and the year beyond. Because we all realize that there is no easy quick fix, right? We would have all done it if there was a quick fix. It's going to take a new level of stick-to-itiveness and commitment by all of us. And from what I have seen this past year, we are absolutely ready for that next step. It also goes without saying that we need the mayor and the council president and council members and our state government to actually be real partners with us. We know we're going to have disagreements, and it's going to be over priorities and policy. And we've got to continue to explain our positions on things and to help give expertise when needed to City Hall and to the State House. And we all know, as difficult as this all is, I have to say Greg Devens, who's the CEO of Independence Blue Cross, he is showing us true leadership. He is running this initiative for us as chair of our Policy and Legislative Committee. The good news is we actually are beginning to see some positive change. The mayor and city council, they kept their promise, and they invited us to be part of a group that is trying to fix the Philadelphia tax system. We are involved, we are proactive, we are bringing in experts, and we are bringing in solutions. We have to keep building on that cooperative spirit we embraced facing the pandemic to get to our longer-term priorities. And that's obviously going to take leadership for the long term, which means not just those of us here today, but the next generation of Philadelphia leaders too. And that's why I want to quickly mention one more initiative I am especially proud of. Something actually past board chair John Fry was and is still passionate about. Josh Koppelman, CEO of First Round Capital and chair of the Inquirer Board, and Nick Baer, CEO of Saxby's. They are both on our Chamber Executive Committee. They and Councilwoman Catherine Gilmore Richardson are our next generation of superstars, and they've agreed to chair a committee to develop the future leaders for our city and our region, and also attract young talent to our city. These are some of the important issues they will tackle. So let me just close with one last note of hometown pride about what Philadelphia can do, and not just for ourselves when it comes to global leadership. Let's remind ourselves that two of the Chamber's most engaged leaders who are on our Recharge and Recover Steering Committee, David Cohen and Amy Gutman, have been nominated by the President of the United States to represent the nation as ambassador to two of our most important allies in the world. We are so proud of them as friends and colleagues here, and we're also really proud of what their leadership says about Philadelphia. And that is just one example of leadership. Let's also remember that the pioneering mRNA research breakthrough that's behind the most effective COVID vaccines, that was done right here in one of our world-renowned biomedical labs, literally saving millions of lives and helping make an end to global pandemic possible. It is a really important reminder that we live and work in a world-class city and region. Now, if you will, allow me to recognize the new members of our board and our executive committee. Every single new board person was chosen because each one is our leader in our region. Kareem Afzal, David Berkovich, Ted Durkin, Audrey Greenberg, Janet Haas, Thomas Harper, Chris Havener, Toya Larson, Roberto Perez, Jordan Rambo, Kate Rowe, Melissa Scheffler, Andy Sofish, Matthias Tarnopolsky, and Lynn Thomas. And members of our executive board, Silvana Battaglia, Greg Devins, Josh Koppelman, Bruce Meyer, Brett Perkins, and Jason Wingard. I also know that you all join me in thanking Rob and his team. They are as much a part of our mission as we are. And I really want to thank all of you for the guidance and support you've given me as chair, and for what you've done and what you will all be doing to invest in our collective future. We have plenty of work to do together in the months ahead. So let's keep pushing that boulder up a hill, knowing we're doing something really uniquely special for our city and region.
At Cabaletta, we're developing engineered T-cell therapies for patients with B-cell mediated autoimmune diseases. We were originally founded as a collaboration at the University of Pennsylvania. The premise of the technology is to really take patients' own T-cells and re-engineer them so that they are designed to recognize and eliminate the specific cells that cause diseases. The Chamber was a critical partner specifically with the CEO Council for Growth in getting leaders in the region together in how we as a industry and as a community can help rebuild what had really grinded to a halt as a result of COVID-19. When you see the explosive amount of growth that's occurring in the biotech sector, and specifically in the cell and gene therapy sector, the number of new companies, the number of new technologies, the people and the talent that are coming here, I think we are poised over the next 5 to 10 years to really establish ourselves as at the forefront of cell and gene therapy.
PIDC has supported businesses of all sizes throughout the pandemic, providing emergency grant programs to small businesses in the city, alongside our partners at the City of Philadelphia Commerce Department, to provide what was one of the earliest relief programs for small businesses in the country. $70 million to more than 5,000 small businesses in Philadelphia since the start of the pandemic. PIDC was a proud partner in the recharge and recovery work with the Chamber of Commerce. In particular, we were excited by the focus on Black and Brown-owned businesses and the collaborative effort. The most important thing that we can do is to keep working together in new ways. We have the potential to leverage so many more opportunities like what is happening at the Navy Yard. I think that is something that can be a model and an opportunity to hopefully inspire other projects and other businesses to follow suit with those types of commitments.
At iEvents, we are a pioneer in transforming the way we approach curing cancer. To do this, we are advancing novel cell therapies based on immune cells called TILs. These TIL cell therapies harness the human immune system to recognize and destroy cancer cells. To support a successful launch and broader access of our therapies, we're building a new organization in the heart of Silicon Valley here in the Navy Yard, Philadelphia. ICTC is the largest cell therapy manufacturing facility in the world with capacity to serve thousands of patients annually. Some of the key tipping points in favor of Philadelphia over all the other locations we had looked at was the availability and cost of real estate. We needed some of the most trained and skilled individuals in the manufacturing process. And Philadelphia offered that through their pool of talent in academic institutions to CDMO companies and the large pharmaceutical base of the business that's already existing. The Chamber and Select Greater Philadelphia have been a valuable resource for iEvents throughout our site selection process and continue to help us raise visibility and become integrated into our local community here.
PICO, we're committed to hiring local and to really focus on, particularly on the unemployed or underemployed. It's really just aligning with our values. We know that we need to do more than just keep the lights on and the gas flowing. There's a lot of great work happening in this city to focus on workforce development. A lot of good work's been going on, but often it's been happening in the silos where we're not partnering with each other as well as we could. We're not using resources of our nonprofit community partners as well as we could. And I think one of the things that the Chambers really help to do is to really convene us, to bring us together, to make connections, and to help coordinate and to facilitate all of us working together, but working together better. Putting the businesses together that have the jobs, putting the community partners and access to people that need those opportunities together with a program that helps to reskill and kind of repurpose some of that talent towards filling those open needs. In a lot of cases, it's us getting together, talking to one another, and leaning on one another to help to do those things that we do best.
I heard about Philadelphia Skills Forward through a counselor at CareerLink, decided to take the course and receive my certification. This helped me with my technology skills and also helped me to get a better idea of how electronic records work. I was shamed into using a computer by my 3-year-old grandson when he was younger, and I never really had anything to do with computers until later in life. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
I'm a midfielder for the Philadelphia Union. You know, I wanted to make sure I try to prepare myself for life after soccer or football. And now I've become a co-chair of the Athlete Venture Group. It's the intersection of sports and business and investing. It's what drives me now. I've never been shy of kind of reaching out to others or reaching out for help, for mentorship. Philly's got a big city, like metropolitan, city feel to it, but at the same time, it's very small. I accepted the role of co-chair for the World Cup Philadelphia 2026. Feel like Philly's my adopted hometown. I know firsthand how it is to play, in a World Cup, having played in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, and that experience for me it's unmatched. It's unbelievable, and I want to make sure that the folks of Philadelphia and in this region experience that same feeling. I think it would be great, for the city from an economic standpoint. So, Philadelphia, the whole region, they're just very passionate about their sports teams. And I think it would be amazing to have, to showcase Philadelphia, to showcase all that to the rest of the world, for them to really experience what Philadelphia is all about.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor for Independence Blue Cross to sponsor this event and to help highlight the Chamber's work in these challenging times. In particular, the Recharge and Recover PHL initiative is driving remarkable collaboration across Greater Philadelphia. It has created momentum to rebuild our economy after a difficult period of fighting the pandemic and established a set of aspirations that keep us focused on realizing a future that is brighter for everyone in the region. One of those aspirations is to make ours the healthiest and most livable community in the Northeast. That is a goal that we have long pursued at Independence Blue Cross through our core business, which helps millions of people access care from Greater Philadelphia's outstanding health ecosystem, and also through our major investments in programs like Indigo Bike Share, the Blue Cross Broad Street Run, and the Blue Cross River Rink, to name a few. However, to be a healthy, livable community, we must also make good on our commitment to promote equity and eradicate systemic inequality and economic injustice. Those factors directly impact health outcomes. In Center City East, the life expectancy for residents is 82 years, but just 3 miles away in Strawberry Mansion, it is less than 64 years. As a community, we can no longer tolerate this life expectancy gap. It is absolutely unacceptable. Your race, zip code, or socioeconomic status shouldn't determine your education level, your job opportunities, and certainly not your life expectancy. At Independence Blue Cross, we are focused on eliminating disparities in care that affect communities of color. And we know that one of the key factors in a healthy community is the presence of good jobs. Our efforts can only succeed if we have a healthy and growing economy that works for everyone, not just a privileged few. Strong collaboration among business, government, and community stakeholders is essential to making this a reality for our region. And I fundamentally believe we will be stronger when we build a community and economy that is equitable and inclusive. That's why we support the Chamber of Commerce with our time, talent, and treasure through sponsorship, membership, and partnership. Under the leadership of Sue Jacobson and Rob Wonderling, the Chamber is meeting the challenges of this time and helping position the region for a brighter and more prosperous future by bringing the business community together, working with elected officials, and offering real solutions. Also, I salute the Chamber's creation of a Community and Culture Department. This will be the home of initiatives aimed at making Greater Philadelphia a better place to work and programming aimed at improving the health and well-being of our citizens. The Community and Culture team will focus on quality of life issues that help retain and attract businesses and residents. I'm honored to be part of this incredible work as chair of the Policy, Regulatory, and Legislative Committee because I believe in this region, its people, and potential. And I know the future will be bright as our community becomes more healthy, livable, and equitable than ever before. Thank you very much.
I was one of a group of business leaders in Philadelphia who reached the decision that we needed to do something to make sure that Philadelphia was well positioned to recover from the ravages of the pandemic. And that came from a very simple reality, which is that historically, Philadelphia has always been hurt more by economic downturns than the average. And I think when we were having discussions about the impact of the pandemic, we said, we can't let that happen again. Pandemic is a terrible blight on our city, financially, on the culture of the city, on the health of the city, on the fabric of the city. But it's an opportunity. It is an opportunity to rebuild and to come out of the pandemic with even greater strength. So let's be proactive. Let's try and plan in advance and make sure we're coming out with momentum and purpose. There have been activities in which a wide swath of the business community and grassroots supporters, not only from the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, but from our ethnic chambers of commerce, have been able to work together and create collaborations that will help us in the economic recovery, but will also help us to function as an integrated community and really help us to achieve the diverse, sustainable growth that has been our objective for the last 5 years. When I was elected chair of the chamber, I wanted to talk about diversity, and educational funding is my view now that there is no topic that is more core to the success of our business community, to the success of any individual business in the business community than diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I say that because there are numerous studies, countless studies now, that document that diverse organizations, diverse companies have higher revenue growth, have higher profitability, and so that the statistical evidence is indisputable. But I go beyond the statistical evidence. I think there are just a host of the way in which we interrelate with each other and a host of ways in which we do business where diversity and inclusion is such an important factor. A diverse workforce helps to stimulate innovation and creativity. I can't imagine where our community would be without the engaged, committed Philadelphia business community. And it's our great strength. And as we approach the end of the pandemic, and we're beginning to come out of the pandemic, it is the business community that is going to lead us. And I couldn't be prouder of my association with so many great business leaders in the greater Philadelphia area. They have made Philadelphia a success and continue to grow our economy and to grow our presence in the United States as a major community, not just for businesses, but a major community to raise a family, to partake in the cultural strengths, in the sports strengths, in the vibrancy of our restaurant scene and of our hospitality sector. It is that great strength of Philadelphia, which is nurtured by the business community, that is ultimately our biggest competitive strength. I think the future of Philadelphia is going to be a city that embraces inclusive growth. Not just growth, but inclusive growth has to benefit businesses from top to bottom. Large companies, small companies, medium-sized companies, an agenda that embraces Black and brown and women-owned businesses as essential elements of our future and of our economic recovery. This overarching inclusive growth agenda across the diversity of our economy are almost unthinkably large. And that's my dream for Philadelphia, and it's a dream that I see happening over the next 5 to 10 years as we exit the pandemic.
And thus ends the 21st annual meeting of your Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia. It is an absolutely glorious day outside. So take a moment, bask in the sun, and share that unbridled optimism that is the future of this business community, this city, and this Greater Philadelphia region. Thank you.